Zack Padilla has made the most of his second time around. The California native left boxing because he was disenchanted in 1986. It took 5 long years for him to return, then 2 more to get some momentum. Most careers can't afford this type of deliberation. Padilla, however, has blossomed at age 30. He's got 4 straight major victories on the road. His banner 1993 campaign started with a grueling technical knockout victory over Ricky Myers, a tough guy. Roger Mayweather was a former 2-time champion whose battle with WBO junior welterweight title holder Carlos Gonzalez was already set when he fought Padilla. Oops. It was Padilla who scored the split decision win, took Mayweather's place against Gonzalez, and beat him. Last month, he stopped Efrem Calamardi in Italy.
It was a very good win, you know. Being on jets all the time, that was kind of like took a lot out of me, but I seemed to pull through. I had very strong legs in that fight, and I had a very strong right hand from that fight. That's what won it for me.
Ray Oliveira, meanwhile, prefers not to be judged, literally. His 20-3 record includes 2 split decision losses. The first came in a shootout with Ricky Myers right here at the Foxwoods. Both fighters laid claim to victory after a frantic 10th round, but Myers got the nod. Heartbreak number 2 occurred against Sergey Artemiev. It was the same story for Oliveira. Good action for 10 rounds, bad outcome. In 1993, Oliveira told judges to keep their opinions to themselves. Robert Hightower was the first of 4 straight knockout victims. Tracy Spann was the last. This domination of the former #1 IBF contender was Oliveira's best win. He has since enjoyed a decision victory. If this one goes all the way, Oliveira knows what he must do to please the jury.
I just gotta box the way I know I can, the way everybody else knows I can. I gotta work my jab, body, work both up and down. Use the ring as my advantage.
And here's a look at Ray Oliveira. He will have the crowd very much on his side for tonight's festivities. Hiding behind the hood here, kind of the last-minute thoughts. A lot of fighters will do this, Dave.
They'll come out, and then you think it's a concert when they break out there. Where's the lights and where's the stage show? Maybe their last few moments to gather their final thoughts.
So Ray Oliveira making his way through the crowd. It is a very, as we said, supportive crowd. Zack Padilla is not only going to have to fight Ray Oliveira, he's going to have to fight the better part of this house.
And Padilla is somebody who has been a rarity in that he fights very well on the road. Most fighters don't want to take their title on the road. They think the judges will be against them.
I don't get the sense that Zack Padilla is a guy who loses focus very easily. He had his game face on, and we spoke with him this morning. Ray Oliveira is a loosey-goosey kind of guy.
And I think that's indicative of the way they fight, too. Oliveira will fight a very emotional bout tonight. He will let loose, and it will be a furious effort from him, and Padilla will try to make it all business.
Oliveira winning a few more fans here at Foxwoods, I'm sure, by donning the colors that are predominant in this facility, and a very nice facility, too, incidentally. And Zack Padilla going for a little inspirational music.
Hey, we haven't heard this one before, have we?
A lot of work for Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, but the champion is an underdog.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So Padilla now starts to make his way toward the center of the ring. Ray Oliveira, you can see with a knee brace on. He was in a shooting incident several years ago, actually about 3 years ago. Had to have arthroscopic surgery on the knee, and here is the champion, Zack Padilla. Zack going for the French twist tonight.
Anything for style points. And that face you see right there is what he had on this morning. Very focused, as you said, a veteran. Knows exactly what he's got to do.
Very talented fighter, and a fighter who, and we mentioned this earlier, seems to fight up to the caliber of his competition and never down to. As we take a look at the AutoZone keys to victory, Dave.
And Padilla wants to go with the punch volume tonight. He also wants to win through attrition, especially with his right hand. Punches and bunches, that's his theme. For Oliveira, move on angles, try to frustrate Padilla, get him out of his game plan, and the counter shots try to make Padilla pay for every mistake.
Really is an interesting matchup as we take a look, Dave, at the WBO rules.
And the 3 knockdown rule is in effect, but no standing 8 count here. That's very interesting because that usually counts as a knockdown. The referee can stop the fight. 3 judges score. The 10-point must-scoring system in effect. The fighter can be saved by the bell in the last round only. And the accidental butt rule, you go to the cards after 3 rounds. Before that, it's an accidental draw.
What's left then is to get on with it. Let's do that with Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Top Rank Boxing on ESPN in association with the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Present World Championship Boxing. This bout is sanctioned by the Athletic Division of the Connecticut Department of Consumer Protection. Commissioner Gloria Schaefer. Executive Secretary John Burns in association with Foxwood, Mashantucket, Pequot Nation Combined Boxing Commission. Bobby Young, Commissioner. This bout is also sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization Supervisor and attendance at ringside, Mr. Ed Levine. The scoring will be done by 3 judges, Dr. Ruben Garcia, Dr. Ismael Huizo Fernandez, and Dr. Nelson Vasquez. Our physicians in attendance, Dr. James O'Brien, Dr. Michael Schwartz, and Dr. Joseph Carpentieri. Timekeeper Lou Dell, counting for the knockdowns, Clifford Sebastian. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Foxwoods Resort Casino here in Southeast Connecticut, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Junior Welterweight Championship of the World. When the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, referee, working for the 40th time in a world title bout, Steve Smoger. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the turquoise trunks with purple trim, weighs in at 138 pounds. From Fall River, Massachusetts, he brings a professional record of 20 victories with 9 KOs. Only 3 losses in his career. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the challenger, Sucra Ray Oliveira. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with light blue trim, weighing 138 1/2 pounds, from Azusa, California. His professional record, 18 victories, only 1 defeat, with 1 draw, 11 KOs to his credit. Presenting the WBO Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Zack Attack Padilla.
All right, gentlemen, you were given your instructions at the weigh-in. Obey my commands at all times. Respect the bell at all times, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch him up, and let's go. God bless, bud.
Ray Oliveira, who a moment ago I took a look at him and we sort of caught each other's eyes, and he looked a little bit nervous to me, to be very honest with you. A lot of fighters do. It's not to say he's not going to be ready to fight. It may just take 1 punch to get him into it, but he does look a little tight right now.
You were looking at the moment of truth with him.
Zack Padilla, on the other hand, this guy's just all business, and his whole ethic is hard work, and he brings that into the ring.
And somebody who tasted success late in his career and has handled it well. Sometimes it's better to get success late. He's 30, and he's not nervous before his fights. He's been around.
Took 5 years off, and he said, very simply, he said, I just wasn't happy the way things were going. I wasn't happy with my management. I wasn't happy with my training. I needed some money. I had to go to work.
And talk about money. You labor all those years for almost nothing, and then in the last 2 months of this year, he makes $150,000 in a 2-month period. And for somebody who labored for years, it's a tremendous accomplishment.
It really is. Both these fighters, like likable guys, and we say that it seems every week, but it's absolutely true about this sport. I work with a lot of different sports, nicest athletes, most obliging athletes I've ever dealt with fighters.
They're very open, they're confident, and pretty amusing.
Nice shot, double shot. Left hand and an uppercut with the left hand from Oliveira. Fight up-tempo from the opening bell.
And we'll see if we come up with the swarming and the rapid volume of punches as these guys get warmed up.
Oliveira got him going backward that time. That's significant.
Pretty good body shots. He said he would move on angles and then try those countering blows.
Ray Oliveira is a guy who just one day dedicated himself to boxing. Always has had the talent, hasn't always put the time in that the sport requires. However, I think it was probably after the loss to Artemiev, he thought that was a fight that he should have won. He got himself back in the gym. He has not been out of shape since then.
And he figured he could do a little more in those losses. And they're real barometers of your ability and your willingness to stay with the sport. Tough losses back to back, and he made them more to his advantage. And then the win over Tracy Spann propelled his career in a different direction totally.
We keep talking about how Padilla is just constant motion in the ring. In his championship fight with Gonzalez, combined 2,400 punches.
That's why the lower weight fighters create such excitement in boxing.
Padilla got there with the right hand. It's going to be a very difficult fight to score. You could tell already just by how the first round has gone.
And Padilla trying to sharpshoot with the jab, and Oliveira trying to counter. Territorially, this round has belonged to Padilla, but Oliveira has had some striking moments, too.
Good right hand from Padilla. Coming to the end of round number 1, and I think you could sit back and be assured that this is going to go on for 11 more rounds.
John, how you doing?
175 punches combined for these two. I suspect the pace will pick up even more, David.
Yeah, they were just warming up in that round for 175.
Here are the numbers in the first round, and Oliveira did his part.
10 more punches landed than Padilla.
Nice combination by Oliveira.
Quick hands on the inside. What he's got to do is take advantage of those opportunities.
Left himself for the left hand, and put Padilla obliged him.
Oliveira doing something here in the second round. Fighters must, when they make their opponents miss, you have to come back and make them pay. And on the inside, he did nail Padilla a couple times after making Padilla miss.
Both men got there. And we talked about this fight being a fight of attrition. Who has the most left? And it really is starting out as though that is going to be the bottom line.
And Padilla doing nice work getting Oliveira to snap back.
And of course, the crowd is going to react every time Oliveira scores.
They'll applaud at the rumor of a punch.
And there are times that can act as an influence on the judges.
And that's what the home boxing ring edge is all about, when the promoters negotiate and see where they're going to stage the fight and give the guy more for going on the road.
Oliveira giving him a lot of angles, and that's something that he said he was going to do. He said he needed to do.
Now, we've got an interesting contrast already, because Oliveira looks like he's been a little more accurate, but Padilla looks like he's been crisper and harder in his punches.
Clean, good.
Oliveira just bouncing right off the ropes, not letting himself be caught there.
Padilla continuing to jab and trying to move forward.
Not only is this a frenetic fight, but it's a tactical fight as well.
Yeah, because the punch volume you're seeing is 6 in a row, then stop, 5 in a row, then stop, and look for the next angle. It's not just 20 bombs all at one time.
Coming to the end of round number 2, and it has been an extremely close fight so far. But a reminder the top.
And Oliveira on the inside after being forced back by Padilla. Doing some nice work at the end of round 2.
So we start the third round. Ray Oliveira in the blue and purple trunks, and Zack Padilla, the champion, black trunks with a blue band. The numbers in the second round, and the pace is right up there as we expected it might be. Padilla throwing more, landing 2 more. Very close round.
And the numbers indicative of how close that round really was. I think Padilla moving Oliveira back, and that's when he's managed to unload his best. I wonder if Oliveira can win this fight backing up, even though he's turned into some nice shots that way. You lose a lot of time, a lot of punching time when you're on the retreat. But some judges just hate that.
What does impress me, though, about what Oliveira is doing is he's really giving him a lot of different looks. And that's something that Roger Mayweather didn't do, Gonzalez didn't do. He just tried to battle him.
Right, he's not going to let Padilla be a straight-ahead slugger. So you've got 2 fighters thinking attack. Padilla moving forward, and Oliveira ducking and then attacking even when he's on his heels.
Nice uppercut by Oliveira. Now, Oliveira, as you pointed out, he's not going to generate a lot of power with that because he's throwing punches off his heels. He's throwing punches where you can't really set down on it. But nonetheless, it's an effective game plan.
They count. If you make up your mind beforehand that the fight is going to go all the way anyhow, it pays to go for those points.
And, of course, I hasten to point out that Zack Padilla just fought in the middle of November. He had to go all the way to Italy to do it. You heard him talk about having a little jet lag. That was less than a month ago.
And it was an intense fight, even though he came away from it unscarred, etc. It's still a tough battle. Got an excellent battle of jabs here. Some interesting scoring points will be brought up by this verdict. 1, effective aggression. Is Padilla winning when he's coming forward, or is Oliveira doing the best work while moving laterally? And 2, can a fighter win when he's backing up? Oliveira seems to think that he can. He's using his weapons effectively here.
Well, I think the fact is he's not backing up as a defensive posture.
He's backing up and then turning into it.
Well, the storyline is pretty much as it has been, as the pace is high, as we expected it would be, and a very close fight.
Panasonic presents.
After a series of shots, he turns and gets it in.
And Ray Oliveira comes out for round 4 with 7 jabs.
Well, Padilla threw 127 punches in round 3. Oliveira 102. Both over the century mark for the round.
It's exactly as advertised. Padilla now with a slight edge, and both in punches thrown and punches landed, but it is a close fight.
Now, this is a volume fight. These are not heavy punches being landed here, but both fighters agreeing that they have to be active to take it.
Both fighters cranking them here, too. Each man has probably taken the other's best, even at this early juncture.
And now we're seeing a shift in strategy with Padilla on the inside, and Oliveira staying there with him and inviting him to make this a body shot attack. I think Padilla's had the advantage of this so far.
That's what Padilla's corner wanted. They talked to him about that between rounds.
Well, I think Oliveira's been a little sharper with the jabs than maybe they thought he would be. So now they're saying to Padilla, try a different strategy, go on the inside, be flexible.
Some pretty good shots from Padilla.
And so far in round 4, Padilla has managed to smother Oliveira's shots by getting inside. And the one thing about these punch volumes is, if you're willing to dismiss power, you can throw many more punches than normal. They can come quicker and they can be shorter. Now, Padilla is leaving himself open for a counter right when he leads with that looping uppercut as he walks in. But Oliveira has had that sort of peekaboo defense and hasn't seen it.
And again, big numbers of punches here in the 4th round, headed for the 1-minute mark.
And for the first time in this fight, we're seeing the attrition that we talked about at the top of the broadcast.
This is the most lopsided round of the fight.
This is a guts down in the trenches kind of a round.
And it's also a round, at least from my viewpoint, that Padilla is clearly winning. And it's the first round I think you could say either man is clearly winning.
Yeah, you'll see a an edge for Padilla because he's got good range in here. Whereas Oliveira is a little smothered on the inside. He can't get the range on his shots. He's got to step back to get his punches together. Yet no matter who wins the round, there are times when it becomes a little mano-a-mano inside. No matter who wins the round, fighters think they have to prove something to the other person.
Padilla, the heavier-handed puncher, but that's not to say that he's a guy who's a huge threat to get you out of there. When he does, again, it's not with one punch, it's with a cumulative effect. Good round for Padilla. A decided edge for him in the fourth round. We'll be back to Foxwoods after this.
In today's ever-changing...
Punches he threw. That is a record for the guys, our punch profile guys, Logan Hobson and Bob Kenobi, who have been doing this for many, many years. That is the most punches thrown in a single round in a professional fight since they've been doing it. We go back, I think, about 10 years with those guys. Not to mention the 75 punches that he landed 75 punches. That is also a record.
Well, that makes him the Denver Nuggets of boxing. Fast break style and let them go, and he was on the inside.
And in Oliveira's corner, they were saying, you got to fight. You got to fight. And Oliveira's doing everything he can. But so far, he's in there with a machine.
And back throws 155 punches. You can expect it to be a little passive.
Yeah. 75 or 80 looks passive.
And I would look for Padilla to continue that strategy to be on the inside. It makes it an easier fight from a stamina standpoint, and that you can get inside, shorter punches, get more off.
On your card, a 2-point fight. Oddly enough, that's what I have. 39-37 for Zack Padilla.
He may have had a short edge in one of the close rounds, and last two rounds have been pretty good for him. And you can see the veteran Padilla is, he doesn't get carried away with how good of a round he had last time. He comes right back and knows this is another battle, another round to win.
Yeah,
some fighters think in terms of power, others think of it round by round.
I think that's true, and he's also a guy, I've seen him fight several times, I've never seen him take a round off, which a lot of fighters do when they throw a whole bunch of punches.
A lot of fighters have to if they want to conserve themselves, especially somebody in their 30s.
Right now, this is really vintage Zack Padilla. Stay on top of your man and just wing punches.
And Padilla continues to do what got him here. Swarm on the inside, keep the punch volume going, not waste a second.
Just judging from what I've seen so far, I'd say his numbers probably dropped down to 100 or so in this round.
He's been slacking.
Yeah.
You knew he couldn't keep it up. And he's just doing it with basic infighting here. Nothing fancy about it. You can throw a lot of punches if you make sure that you're in position to all the time and just be fairly aggressive.
And at the same time, though, he's not careless. You know, oftentimes when you see him get on the inside, he doesn't just duck in there or jump in there. He's coming in usually behind a jab, came in behind a hook that time. But generally speaking, he'll get in behind a jab. At the very least, he'll show the man the jab. We're going to take you into Oliveira's corner.
Yeah, fast. Look, stay boxing like that, all right? Yep. Just take it off on him. He gets one shot at you, come back with two. Okay. All right, and move. I don't want you slugging with this guy, all right? Stay away. Stay to your right. Okay? Yep. Stay to your right, baby. Next. Breathe, baby. Breathe. Breathe. Even as when it's forward. Okay, baby? Mm-hmm. All right, baby. Come on. You got to work. Stay in the middle. Okay. Work your combinations and work his belly. Yep. And then step out. Don't keep going ahead on him. Okay. All right, baby? Yep. That's the two you go. Okay.
Well, it's interesting advice, and I think it's probably the right advice.
They don't want him to get into a corner battle and on the inside. They want him to move. We talked about earlier the adjustment that Padilla had made, and it's got Oliveira's corner worried, justifiably so.
Padilla, 109 punches in the last round.
Oliveira actually threw one more. We told you Padilla was slow.
Yeah, I think. Now we'll see if Ray Oliveira can do what his corner suggested. As we look at the numbers through 5 rounds, that is remarkable.
Both averaging well over 100 a round. Imagine landing 143 punches after 5 rounds and being blown out. Of course, it's the severity of them that count too, and that's what the judges are looking at. Padilla, meanwhile, imposing his will on Oliveira here, again getting inside. That's been the best tactical adjustment in this fight so far. Padilla transferring the fight to inside quarters.
I would imagine, too, it's got to be very frustrating fighting Zack Padilla. I mean, you never have a chance to step back and take a breath.
No, and you have to step laterally and take a breath. Now, we saw Oliveira before on the outside, moving laterally, and maybe some of these body shots that he's been hit with have slowed Oliveira down because he seems willing to stand in front of Padilla, and that's not the way you fight him. That's the mistake Roger Mayweather made.
He's a real pest, Padilla. I mean, he's just there. Every time you open your eyes, he's there. And again, you have to point out these are not careless punches by Padilla. Oliveira gets him on the ropes, so this is much ado about not very much.
Well, Padilla is turning into his punches on the inside. That's why he can continue to throw them and maintain his balance. When a fighter is turning, he stays squared up and can keep the hands moving. When a fighter tries to throw big shots, he gets off balance and then has to reload.
And in this case, I assure you, Padilla is on the ropes because he wants to be, not because Oliveira is pinning him there.
Still, I'm surprised he would let himself go on the ropes here when being on the inside has worked so well.
But he's getting the best of it. Well,
maybe he is and maybe he's not. Oliveira at least has room here. Oliveira can step back.
Now Oliveira is, now Padilla gets off the ropes. I believe he was there by choice for a while, but Oliveira did stick him a couple times. Some hard punches being thrown in this round, and again, huge numbers.
Oliveira trying to tie Padilla up without being detected and then land a quick shot.
It's going to be huge numbers in this round, too, I feel, for both men. And we come to the end of round 6, and this fight has been absolutely as advertised. An outstanding battle for the WBO light welterweight championship. We'll be back.
Here's your answer. A sizzling left hook by Oliveira.
That was the good news for Ray Oliveira. The bad news is Zack Padilla just keeps on breaking records. 179 punches he threw in that round. Truly remarkable.
Well, he should have just broken it by a couple because then he could have broken it again. Instead, he shattered the record, and 78 of them got in. And
how about Oliveira?
Yeah, he threw a lot of punches.
146.
Well, then they set a record for punches thrown in around between the two of them.
Over 300 punches, 310 punches.
Hey, but that's 44%. That's not good. Well, it has been a good, gruesome battle of attrition on the inside.
Well, clearly this fight, we talked about this at the very beginning, this is going to be a fight of who has what left.
And Padilla hopes that he doesn't punch himself out with those big, round... Because Oliveira is also bringing the big punch volume out of him by being there, a good target, and matching. Now, these fighters are in a rhythm. One guy throws, the other guy throws. There's no dead time, so they're picking each other up. They're like two runners who force each other along.
And it's going to be who has what down the stretch.
Exactly. It's a little surprising still that Oliveira has not adjusted from that outside style. Probably a big reason is that he's throwing more punches himself than he was earlier in the fight, and probably thinks he's doing a good job in there.
Well, and by most standards, he is.
And he went inside, his punch volume went up 50%. Ordinarily, he would be happy with the adjustments, but Padilla's went up nearly 100%.
Padilla is starting to slap with his punches, just ever so slightly. from Oliveira. Good left hand from Padilla. And combination from Padilla.
Might be slapping, but he's still throwing.
Yeah, no, he hasn't slapped in the last minute or so. A couple times earlier in the round. It's going to be another huge round. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a terrific fight.
Eddie, hold it back. No, don't hold it back. Give me this. Thank you, Brad.
Dropped off that round. Only 152 punches for Padilla. It's really remarkable.
That's his third round over 150 in this fight.
All I know is he went into this fight with a 32-inch sleeve, and he's going to come out with a 34.5.
And look at those punch totals, 1724, 2400. The record that he had with Gonzalez, that's certainly in jeopardy. Shows you a lot of things. One, how the pity-pat punches figure into a bout, too. Not always setting things up, but they count. Padilla, when he was rocking back, turned into his shots, lands the left hook, then the right hand coming across, and Oliveira answered.
You know, the other thing that I find significant, Dave, is the fact that I didn't notice Padilla even breathing heavy in the corners.
Now, he's used to this. And it also shows a fighter can throw numerous punches like that when many of them are short. When you're on the inside and they're short, they're thrown technically correctly, and you keep your balance, it takes less out of a fighter. Because many of these are not big shots.
A little bit of swelling around the left eye of Padilla. Look at these numbers through 7 rounds. I mean, this is really stunning.
And there's something else going on there, too. Padilla's percentage of landing is going way down. Way down. It was 44% a couple rounds ago. Now it's 39%. Not only because of the big volume, but he's tired now, and they're missing. You would figure as this fight would go along, you'll see a lot more attempted and missed shots than you're going to see landing.
But the fight right now is being fought at the pace and the tempo and in the part of the ring that Zack Padilla would like. This is for the WBO Junior Welterweight Championship. Zack Padilla in the black trunks with the blue stripe. Ray Oliveira in the blue trunks with the purple stripe. It has been action from beginning to now, and don't you know, to the end. An inordinate amount of punches being thrown by both men.
Fighters with whirlwind punching capabilities, and what also helps this is that they're not punchers. These are not knockout artists. Two fighters in there who are not going to put fighters away, and therefore they can withstand more, and they want to throw more because their confidence is up. The big bangers are watching this show and saying, well, sure, I would have had him out by now.
I was just going to, George Foreman hasn't thrown this many punches in his career. Well, it makes for a very entertaining evening, which we expected it would be, but it's nice to have one that is exactly as you expect it will be.
And you're going to see the fighters, I think, with a lot of guts over the last 4 rounds. As they get fatigued, technique may slip by a little bit, but the crowd reaction, keeping the fast pace of the fight, and what's at stake will keep it an intense battle.
I have to say, though, that I don't really notice that either man is perceptibly tired right now.
No, they're not showing it from the mouthpieces. They're showing it from their arms with their misses more. They're going over the top a little bit more. They're not setting themselves as much to get their shots off, and they're looping their shots now instead of being compact.
Headed for the end of round number 8. This will also, I feel, be a round that I'm guessing about 210 between the two of them. How's that? All of a sudden I'm making predictions on how many punches.
Are you sure you're not counting?
210, 211. End of round 8. We'll be back.
Took game, ducks underneath, and lands it solidly.
Well, I was wrong by 30 punches. 240 punches thrown between these two.
Well, you missed the first 10 seconds of the round.
That must have been it. The bottom line, however, is who's winning the fight, and I have Padilla having won the last 6 rounds.
He's very comfortably ahead here. On the inside, the adjustment has been a significant one for him. Either fighter has been close to being down. We haven't had cuts. In some cases, it's looked like a pillow fight, a slap-happy affair, and they're going to keep this pace probably right to the final bell. However, I think Oliveira should have adjusted and gone back to the outside. Coming in has been his undoing.
A little bit of swelling, as you mentioned, on the left eye of Ray Oliveira.
In the early rounds, Oliveira had his jab going on the outside, and he was able to cut off the jab of Padilla and frustrate him a bit on the inside. Padilla couldn't get all of his punches through. But when they got close, Padilla's accuracy increased, and he decided to throw more because Oliveira was so close to him.
Take a look at your card, and you have a 4-point fight. I have a 6-point fight. 78-74 for Padilla.
In either circumstance, Oliveira would have to win every round, even just to get a draw, in which case Padilla would keep his title. So Oliveira needs a knockout to become the title holder. At least on these two unofficial scorecards.
Oliveira's starting to show a little bit of fatigue right now.
Well, some of the adrenaline and emotion might be wearing off now as Padilla has established a pattern of grinding it out on the inside. Nothing fancy and spectacular, just workmanlike.
Which is exactly his personality.
All business, didn't say too much today, stays in one gear in the ring, and for somebody who fights a lot, that's an important trait.
And the one gear is overdrive.
And he really goes in there and figures, I'll take your heart away or you'll take mine.
Lends itself to the Rocky music, doesn't it?
It certainly ties in. In his case, also a very blue-collar approach today. Fights on the road, doesn't make any big spectacular entrance, doesn't say anything inflammatory, just comes in and fights.
No, in fact, these two, they were very cordial with each other, as I'm sure they will be after this fight. I'm sure there's a great deal of respect between these two. And we keep waxing about Padilla. Let's take nothing away from Ray Oliveira, who has come in here with an idea and has executed it to the best of his ability. And again, they finish this round wailing at each other in the corner. We'll be back. And a reminder, the NFL coming your way here on ESPN this Sunday night. It'll be the Philadelphia Eagles and the Indianapolis Colts. Eagles had hoped to have Randall Cunningham. Doctor said, I don't think so, not quite yet. Eagles and the Colts, 8 o'clock Sunday right here on ESPN.
And Zack Padilla in close. A short chopping left hook. It was easy to throw from that distance.
So we start the 10th round. We're going 12. This is for the WBO Light Welterweight Junior Welterweight Championship. Here are the numbers.
Both over 1,000 through 9.
Punch profile guys wearing their little fingers to the bone,
which means the Gonzalez record should fall this round. Maybe we've got a shot for 3,000.
Almost. Really remarkable.
And Padilla continuing to grind. He's made the best tactical adjustments in this fight. Oliveira inexplicably moved on the inside in round 4, and Padilla has taken over since then. And it's surprising to see the guy's not a big knockout puncher, that he goes to the inside and stays there. When it doesn't work, go back outside, because boxing skills is what caused the big record.
A lot of heart in this fight, I'll tell you that.
Two fighters who really have been given a second chance in their careers, appreciate their role in boxing more now than before, and they're in excellent shape and give honest efforts. Like we said in the beginning of the telecast, where were these guys a year ago? And 1 year later, they've exploded on the scene and made opportunities for themselves. Padilla has had a James Toney type of emergence this year.
And what you're seeing tonight is just what he is and what he's all about.
And also the type of style that enables a fighter to go on the road and win. No nonsense, doesn't get changed up by anything.
He's the kind of guy, too. I'm sure Roger Mayweather looked at Zack Padilla and said, I'll take this guy. He's not a big knockout puncher, no problem. I think guys going to look at him now, and knockout puncher or not, they're going to want no part of it. Of course, he's a champion now, and everybody wants a piece of the title. But were it not for the championship being involved, I think people would avoid him now.
Oh, he'd lose more fights than he would pick up off an effort like this. Fighters who are tuning into this and will take him on in the future will vow to move laterally more and stay on the outside more.
Not to mention getting the gym more.
Yeah, and hope that the fights take their toll through the years.
Padilla says he likes to fight often, and despite the fact that he cranks all those punches, he said, that's my style, and I'm dancing with him. Coming to the end of the 10th round, neither man taking a backward step. Back with more from Foxwoods and Ledyard after this.
Here, landing short from on the inside, making Oliveira miss, and then taking him to school here. That's why some punch numbers are different than others. And we have broken the 2,400 mark, 2,466. But as Padilla is showing you there, a defense can still be involved despite the high numbers.
Numbers in the 10th round. Padilla at 140 and landed 44%. Oliveira again. I mean, there's no reason for Oliveira to put his head in the sand. 101 punches. Accuracy not so good.
And that's 4 rounds for Padilla of 140 punches or more.
Record-breaking night here in Foxwood.
It's a tribute to many things, the conditioning of these fighters and the fact they're not big bangers, and also the fact that their styles accommodated one another tonight. They came inside and they both had a similar idea.
Oliveira wanted us to wish a happy birthday to his daughter, Tanya, one of 5 children that he has, and he is one of 17 children.
He told us today, when it came to the dinner table, if you didn't throw a good right hand, you didn't eat.
And he said the toughest people in the family were his 5 sisters. That eye of Oliveira is swollen, nearly shut now.
I think as the rounds have gone by, Oliveira's hands have dropped, even though he's still throwing punches, and that eye area has become vulnerable to the short jabs of Padilla.
They told Oliveira, he just stepped on his foot that time. They told Oliveira in the corner, don't stay inside with him. Get outside and box, and that's what he's trying to do.
They could put that message on tape. They've been saying that since the 4th round, that they can't make him go outside, and he cannot will himself to go outside.
He is doing a little bit more in this round, but as a result of that, his production has gone down.
It was the body shots of Padilla, also the fact that Oliveira has become a slugger of late. 4 knockouts in his last 5 fights. He wanted to be aggressive. He wanted to really outwill Padilla on the inside. He just didn't get out of that fast enough.
Oliveira clearly trying to box Padilla here. And I'm sure the punch numbers will go down in this round as a result of that. Now he's making Padilla, or rather, Oliveira's making Padilla follow him.
But you see that lead swooping right hand by Oliveira over the top. His hands feel like bricks right now after all these punches.
Of round number 11. And again, they touch gloves at the end of the round. Into the corner we go of Ray Oliveira.
How you feel? Good. Good. You got 3 more minutes, baby. Yep. All right? 3 more minutes. All right? You got to work. You can't let him come to you at all.
3 hard ones, Ray.
All right? Okay. Put your combinations together. He's tired, too, all right? Okay. You got to take it from the champion. You got to take it away from him. These 3 rims are yours. All right? Next one. Last one. Come on, baby.
Come on, last one. And in Zack Padilla's corner, not too much concern and not too much heavy breathing either.
Come on, boy. This is it. You got to win this last one.
What time their flight is
Everything you have.
Punch Mayweather and Gonzalo. Punch that way. You're not punching it at all.
You can start from the ground. You're not punching.
There's a man who's not watching the same fight that we are. He said you're not punching. I can't believe that. Final 3 minutes.
We knew they would tire. At the first round of the fight, they both been under 100.
But not by much. Look at these numbers, will you? 2,649. Is that right? How's my math?
Right to the letter. I'll tell you, we've got an outside shot at the 3,000 if they step it up.
Well, in Padilla's corner, they were saying you got to win this round. I find that hard to believe, but I suppose stranger things have happened.
One thing about fighting on the road is you never take it for granted, and that's exactly how they wanted to keep going. A carbon copy of so many rounds before, leaning on the inside and just wailing away.
And your card decidedly for Padilla, mine even more decidedly for Padilla. I've actually only given Oliveira 1 round. Although you could make a case for a couple of others early in the fight.
Padilla has shown no attrition from his fight in Italy. He can come back quickly. He stays in shape. And a testament to what fighters can do if they stay in the gym and remain focused in between fights. Zack Padilla has made hay in the last 2 months of the year, and with the effort he's given tonight, you can't think of anybody who deserves it more.
Well, he said what he has to do is stay away from the donuts and the coffee and desserts, and he said, you know, that's why I want to get this fight in before the holidays.
You see the $1 million paydays, but there are so many fighters who get 1,000 at a time, and Padilla raking it in. This crowd loves this fight.
As well they should. This has been a wonderful fight. This, folks, is what Top Rank Boxing is all about. Two guys fighting their hearts out inside a minute.
You could put this thing on tape, you bottle it, you've done something very special. It's an instructional film about how to stay in shape and really just how to wage an excellent battle.
Might not have to look too far for a fight of the year. And I'll tell you what, we talked about the 3,000 mark, and the way they're both throwing punches, it's going to be pretty close to it. How do we just let the crowd bring these two home? And Zack Padilla finishes the fight, listen to this, with 200 punches.
He was saving it all for the end.
Unbelievable.
Well, that gives the 3,000 a practical certainty, and that's 4 rounds in this fight. Zack Padilla had more than 150 punches. An excellent performance by both fighters, and Oliveira was very game. He went for it on his home turf tonight, and if you told him beforehand, you'll throw this many punches, you'll fight like this, he would have taken it.
Absolutely. And Ray Oliveira, you know, by no means has to hang his head. I'm going on the assumption that Zack Padilla has retained his title here. Ray Oliveira is going to be back. He's going to get more shots than he's deserving of them.
Yeah, because he really fought in a hungry manner tonight. He tried to take the title away, figured you've got to wrest it away from the champion in convincing style. I think the mistake he made of getting inside cost him dearly in this fight. But here we go. After all the precincts are in, we've got it.
Ring it up.
3,020.
That is truly remarkable.
Not only breaking the record, but by 800 punches over the Gonzalez fight.
Absolutely amazing. And I think the thing that makes it even more amazing and really puts an exclamation point on it, for Padilla, 200 in the last round.
That's astonishing. You try to find that anywhere else, and you try to find somebody that will duplicate that for a long time.
Really remarkable. Really remarkable. Well, a reminder that as soon as we get the decision here, Sports Center with Steve Levy and Craig. Meanwhile, let's find out who won this one. Here's Michael Buffer. Mike?
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Foxwoods Resort Casino in southeastern Connecticut, we go to the scorecards. Before I give the official scoring, I've just been told that in the history of CompuBox keeping statistics, this fight had over 3,000 punches thrown, an all-time record in the history of keeping the punch stats. We go to the scorecards. Ruben Garcia scores about 118 to 110. Ismael Fernandez scores at 116 to 113. And Nelson Vasquez scores at 117 to 112 for the winner. And still champion, the Zack Attack, Zack Padilla.
A remarkable performance by the champion, and the same could be said for the challenger. Zack Padilla retains his championship over Ray Oliveira. You'll see them both again, I promise you. Casino, as Zack Padilla retains his championship over a dead game Ray Oliveira, and right now Dave Bontempo is with Ray Oliveira. Not a loser, I might add.
Okay, thank you, Barry Ray. You guys combined for a record punches 3,020. What was going through your mind during all that?
What a tough bastard. I just knew I had to keep throwing. I knew he was a champ. Didn't matter that he was, in my hometown. I had to win the fight, and, the best man won.
Quickly, what decided for you to go inside? You'd had success outside early.
I don't know. I don't know at all. I guess, my first time in the big championship fight, and I did a lot of things wrong in there. It's a learning thing. And I'll be back. I'm not a quitter.
Okay, congratulations on a game effort, Ray. Thanks a lot. Now we're going to take it over and get the champion over here, Zack Padilla. Zack retaining his title tonight in an all-out war. Zack coming over here. What was going through your mind during this record-filled night of punches?
First of all, I'd like to say hello to my mom, my 3 kids, and Johnny Cabrera, I dedicate this fight to you for getting me right here. And I forgot what
you talk about the punch volume. What was going through your mind during this fight with all those punches being thrown?
People say I'm a slugger now, but actually I think I'm boxing, I just a habit, you guys stay busy to win. But I made sure that I stood on top. The crowd got crazy because he threw a lot of punches, but none of them were landing solid.
Quickly, were you surprised he went inside in the 4th round? It seemed like you took over from that point on.
No, I wasn't surprised, He's a very, I've seen a lot of his fights, and he throws punches all 10 rounds, He's kind of like me. He's fast. But, I was trying to smother him as much as possible.
And you certainly smothered him as well. You guys put on quite a show tonight. Congratulations, and thanks for stopping by. Let's take it now back to Barry.
All right, thanks very much, Davey. And the winner and still champion, Zack Padilla. Hard-earned victory at that. Back with a final word after this. What these two guys must feel like now.
We're going to have to catch our breath just after watching this one, Barry. They put on quite a treat. They got caught up in the action. The crowd brought it on. Their styles were great, and they did it.
Zack Padilla is a guy, tough guy to fight. I don't care what style you have.
And he's probably going to want to come back and fight in about another month or so, since this was such an easy one. But it's a good, honest effort from both guys, and it shows you what can come of boxing when that happens.
I'll tell you what, I think he owes himself a couple of donuts. What do you think?
And some coffee.
No question about it. Zack Padilla, he says he walks around at 138 pounds. He's comfortable there. You're going to see him there for quite a while. That's a wrap for us. Al will be back next week. For Dave Bontempo, I'm Barry Tompkins. See you next week. Top Rank Boxing has been brought to you tonight by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for a crisp, clean...